Okay, so I promised like a couple weeks ago, actually, that I would make a video about what happened with me and my ex. I don't have makeup on, and I didn't do my hair, and I just don't care, and that rhymed. But I'm going to sum it up because it's a ridiculously long story, and I don't know who's following me on here that knows him. I know of one or two people. I'm not throwing anybody under the bus. I'm not going to be rude about it. I'm just going to summarize what happened from my side. And yes, there's always two sides of a story. This is mine. We dated for a year and 2 months, 3 months, something like that. I just say a year and a half because it's easier. Honestly, like my close friends, a lot of his friends, everyone thought we were going to get married. Like, that's how well we were together. We saw each other every day. We would talk all the time. When I thought of a soulmate, I thought of him. First love, first everything. Our first big fight was after 10 months of dating. Don't really remember exactly what it was about. Our second fight was when we broke up. A couple days before we broke up was his 21st birthday. And for some, I don't remember the reason, but I was like upset earlier that day. And I'm the type of person, I don't hide my emotions. I'm not going to put a fake smile on my fucking face to please everybody else. If I'm upset about something, chances are you're going to be able to tell, because if I'm around people that are supposed to care about me, I don't want them to think that I'm faking it. That's just not how I am. I don't censor myself. That's just not how I work. So I was upset about something, so I said something to him, and he got mad. For his 21st birthday, a couple of his cousins and his older sister were planning his 21st, and there are plenty of places to go where it's 18 and up for girls, 21 and up for guys. And for some reason, he just didn't want to go to a place that was 18 and up for girls. So I couldn't go. That upset me, so I said something to him about it. And that caused a problem. So at dinner, it was very awkward. I didn't really talk because I knew that if I was going to talk, I was going to cry. So I just sat there and smiled and ate and whatever. I looked really nice and I didn't get a compliment. So I was just like, whatever. We went back to his house. I gave him his gift. Whatever. Next weekend, my sister comes down to visit. We hang out with him. Then he goes out for his 21st birthday. And he told me he would text me when he got home. He never did. And then 2 days after that, he ignored me for 2 days straight. I didn't know what I did. I still to this day don't know what I did. Then he finally called me that night after 2 days of not talking to me, and he broke up with me. I honestly have never felt a pain like that in my entire life. My mom drove down to Boca to see me that day because I had a really bad feeling and I just wanted someone there with me. And so my mom heard the entire thing. He broke up with me over the phone. My mom heard the entire thing. I had it on speakerphone. He was rude. He was disrespectful. He said things to me that I didn't think you could say to someone that you cared about. As soon as I hung up that phone, I've never cried so hard in my entire life. I dove into the pillows like it was a swimming pool. It was the worst feeling in the entire world. Everyone's like, oh, heartbreak, yeah, no big deal. No, literally everything in your chest hurts. You can feel it breaking. It was, I cannot even explain it to you. So after that, I dropped out of my summer class. I went back home. I think the hardest thing was telling my grandma, because my grandma loved him. My grandma cried. And so that really didn't make me feel any better. And for the longest time, I sat there and wondered what I did wrong. And everyone would tell me, Sam, you did nothing wrong. You were the perfect girlfriend. Everybody has fights. It's not your fault that he either couldn't handle it or didn't want to hear it or couldn't accept the truth or couldn't admit that he was wrong. And for months and months and months, I would sit there and I would blame myself. And his biggest thing was he wanted to be friends no matter what. And I was like, you know what? I care about him, so let me try that. And I will tell you something. I really honestly tried to be friends with him. Going from being in love with someone to being just friends with someone does not work. He would come over, and me, being a girl or an idiot, thought that, hey, like, if I do things with him that I did when we were dating, maybe he'll come back. Sex will not make someone stay. So for the longest time, like, he would come over, we would hook up. I would go over there, we would hook up. And he didn't just come over to do that. Like, we hung out during the day. We went to dinner. Everyone that saw us together thought we were still dating. So it was a really hard situation for me to deal with because here I am. I didn't lose any feelings for him. And it's not what I want, yet I'm still doing it. But then he would tell me that he didn't lose any feelings for me either. He just doesn't have the dating feeling right now. And that killed me. So we stopped talking for 2 months. And I tried talking to somebody else, and it just, I could not do it. And that was like my sign, like, you know what, I want to be back with my ex. And so a couple days later, my ex texted me, and we started hanging out again, and things were going really good. And then he told me that he was talking to some girl that lived out of state. And he was also leading me on, even though he claims that he tells me that that was not his intention and he told me not to get my hopes up, blah, 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 blah. You can't say that to someone and then toy with their emotions. That's not fair to anybody. I've never tried so hard in my entire life to prove to someone that I was what they wanted. He would call me upset about her, and I would sit there and I would talk to him about some other girl, and it was one of the hardest things I've ever done. And up until recently, probably like, I think it was the 27th of December, me and him had like another big fight over something stupid. He called me a liar. I didn't lie. He changed the story in his head, and when people lie to themselves enough in their head, they believe it. And we got into this huge fight, and he told me that obviously I didn't care. And for someone to tell me that I don't care, when I sat through listening to him talk about this other girl, I literally would have dropped anything in my life to be back with him. I would have done anything. And for him to sit there and tell me that I don't care and that I'm like a liar and all this stuff, like, that's not okay. And I reached my breaking point, and I basically told him to go fuck himself and that I can't talk to him anymore. And then he freaked out and he said a lot of mean things, and I haven't talked to him since. And I guess basically what I'm trying to say is, girls, guys, whoever, just don't let someone have that much power over you. I didn't realize. It took me 6 months to realize that I deserved better. And there is someone out there that's going to accept you for you, not little things that they want changed, or like, you shouldn't have to change for anybody. You shouldn't have someone sitting there telling you things that they think is wrong with you. That's not okay, because there's nothing wrong with you. You are you. That's the whole point of having a personality. That's the whole point of being an individual. And if you're with someone that doesn't appreciate that you're your own person and they want to try and change you, then don't waste your time, because there's someone out there that is going to love you for exactly who you are. And granted, I haven't found that person yet, but there is. I hope there is. I mean, shit, if there's not, I'm fucked. But I don't settle for less than you deserve. And I know it is, trust me, I know it is so much easier said than done. It took me 6 months, okay? And I'm always going to care about him. I'm probably always going to love him as much as I don't want to, because just because, but I can't. For myself, I cannot keep talking to him. And I think everyone needs to realize that if someone wants to change you or doesn't like you for exactly who you are, don't waste your time, because all it's going to do is make you hate yourself, and you're going to turn into something that you weren't supposed to be. So yeah, that's my story, really summed up. I mean, obviously I left out a lot of details, and if you guys have been following me for a while, you've probably read some of the things that I've posted. So, this was long overdue, and I'm sorry it took forever, and I'm sorry I look like this, but yeah.